What is going on out there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. You looked for it and you found it. This right here is the place where we dive into the deepest, darkest, murkiest waters with a plethora of legendary guests. I am, of course, your host, your bastard of ceremonies, the number one scumbag, Rex Ruger, and that is Rex spelled with 3 X's. You might also know me as the King of Sleaze. You might also know me as the Hair Metal High Priest. And most importantly, I hope you know me as Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. Take a look, and it's undeniable. The hard science will prove it very soon. But we already know that you're looking at the son of glam, the front man for the band. Just smoked a few grams. I got a million fans. I'm your ice cream man. Mr. Wop, Bop, Loo, Bop, Wop, Bam, Bam, Shazam. Hot damn. Feeling good? And of course, everybody is looking good. It is, of course, made possible by, that's what the Roth family uses to get that quaff like Roth. Also comes in light and the aforementioned industrial strength. Coming to you as always from the lush lavender lounge of love, and joined as always by Keith Hernandez, Puppet. Need I say more? This is, of course, the No Frills podcast because you don't need frills. You get plenty of thrills. What are those thrills? Getting a look at the smorgasbord of beauty right here. Plus, you don't get frills because I don't know how to give you frills. 50 years old. I don't know shit about technology. You're lucky we've gotten this far, folks. But here we are. And tonight is no different. We've got another bona fide legend, and I'm excited. Woo! Feeling good. If you like what you see, and how could you not? Please like and subscribe. Lots of awesome content. Lots of awesome content still on the way. And today is going to be no different. I'm excited. Our guest is already here. So let's get down to it and chop it up on Pod Scum. Let's do it. All right. We hear him, but we don't see. There's the champ. There he is. We finally got him. We finally figured it. We finally figured it out, right?
Yeah.
There he is, folks. Take a good look. That is Nate Campbell, the Galaxxy Warrior, man. I'm so happy to be able to chop it up with you for a little bit here, man. Thanks so much for doing this, man. It's really an honor to get the chance to talk to you, man. First of all, how you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm in the gym. I'm together my gym for the first time, getting it done. You see we got the ring and all.
Yeah.
The
So life after boxing has been good, huh?
I miss boxing.
Yeah.
I miss, you know, a lot of guys don't get it. I miss the contact of it all. I miss boxing. I miss having a reason to get up and train.
Yeah. I get that. Well, for those people that don't know out there, you were the undisputed champ. You were at lightweight. You were lightweight when you had all those belts, correct? Fighting at lightweight.
I was unified. I was unified champion. Pacquiao wouldn't fight me for the undisputed title. But I was 135. I was champion. I held belts at 30, 35, and 54.
And the one thing, and I certainly don't want to start this out on a sour note, but we might as well head this off right now. That 2003 fight with Joel Casamayor, very hotly contested. I could have lived with a draw. Certainly did not think that you lost. When you look back on that fight, one of the bigger disappointments, do you think, as far as is the judges' decisions?
That changed my life. That really changed my life for the worse, because I felt like there was no way that I could win anymore. It was hard for me to wrap my head around that. And I went through a dark years after that. I couldn't get up and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I understand. You have your internet turned on. You're a little bit pixelated. Is your internet? Oh, there you go. That's good.
Yeah, I'm inside the gym.
Well, yeah. And as I said, having watched that fight and watching it back when it happened and watching it again since then, what did you feel? I mean, I believe that you'll say that you won the fight because that is what you should say, man. But could you have lived with a draw, or did they completely get that fucked up, man? You won that fight.
I lost that fight on unanimous decision. As a matter of fact, one judge had it 97-90. One judge had it 97-93. One had it 90. So I wasn't winning that fight no matter what.
Yeah. I do remember those scorecards being very lopsided. And is Is that one of the things that's the biggest deterrent when you're in that, you know, when you're doing that for a career, when you're fighting and you pour your heart out? What does that do to a boxer, man, to have just be, you know, you fight the fight of your life, and then these judges get it completely fucking wrong? And I don't want to impugn judges. I realize they have a hard job or whatever, man, but there are a lot of them that just, you just don't get it right.
Damn them judges. And I tell people sometimes I look at some of the judges like, damn y'all, man. How do you get that wrong? How do you miss it by that much? You know, I'm under the assumption that it is what it is, that you're going to get what you're going to get in this world.
Right.
It was to sacrifice me than it was to sacrifice Joe Casamayor. He was an Olympian. He was he was a defector. He was this. He was that. I was just some guy that came on Johnny Come Lately and decided I was going to start boxing while working at a Winn-Dixie warehouse. You know, so they could. I feel like they felt like they could get rid of me, but the one thing they didn't understand was I was a stubborn SOB.
Yeah,
and even after they took a few fights, I lost a few fights. I was fighting with my body weight, my body changing. When I finally got my stride, I got my stride.
I'm glad you brought up body weight, because you know, on the you know, obviously, you know, a good big fight that's great for the sport that's coming up, the Tank Davis Ryan Garcia fight. When boxers negotiate these different stipulations for fights, does it really, at the end of the day, when that bell rings, really matter? You know, I'm sure obviously glove size affects how much you feel the punches, but when they're negotiating big rings, and especially the thing with the Ryan Garcia fight, this weight clause where he can't go up a certain amount, you know, what's the right way to be weighing these guys in? Because there's a lot of purists who say they should be weighing in a lot closer to the fight.
They want to do this rehydration clause. If you're gonna do all these clauses, damn it,
right.
What was the use in having the 24 hours to rehydrate to start with? Go back. Let me tell you something. If they went the day of, none of these guys would be champions.
Yes, I agree with you there. I agree with you. I love the idea of a day of weigh-in too. Will we ever see it though? Will it happen?
Boxing is on the decline. They better do something.
Yeah. And now I'm interested that you have that take, because it's my favorite sport, been my favorite sport my whole life. But I'd like you to elaborate on that opinion though. Boxing is on the decline, but what is the reason that you think boxing is on the decline? Is it not enough of these big fights being made?
They won't make the big fights. Everybody is talking about what they're doing without doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
No offense, you get guys that are pound for pound #1 in the world who have not beat a top guy ever.
Right.
You get guys. When I was coming up, I never made the top 10 list. I never made it.
Amazing.
I was top 15, but I never made top 10. And I was okay with that. I was totally okay with that. I was okay with that. You got guys who couldn't carry jock straps, and guys the generation before, in my generation, talking about they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna show you how bad boxing has gotten. Dana White, every time there's a big boxing match, he does a big MMA match, and always.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I mean, obviously, boxing and UFC are both combat sports, but they're also kind of competitors in a way. You know, I mean, Dana White is certainly trying to pull that boxing audience over to over to MMA. I'm sure he would like to have all the boxing purists even kind of throw their hands up and just walk away from boxing and kind of defect over to be, UFC champs. I myself will not do that, but I know plenty of people certainly have. And I do enjoy watching the UFC from time to time. In my mind, it doesn't replace boxing. It's just a personal choice for me. But I do agree with a lot of the talking. It's disheartening when you don't see the Spence Crawford fight made, which is why I love the fact that Ryan Garcia and Tank are going to fight, because I think it is a fight that boxing certainly needs. But they need more of them though. You can't just have like one of these every 5 years.
You know what? Sad part about it is, without arguing about it or being upset about it, you have to say this. Boxing is at a crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
Crossroads because nobody's willing to work with each other. Everybody's protecting that mythical O.
Mm-hmm.
Having a loss didn't negate you being a great fighter.
Right. I agree with you.
Now you got these jokers that can't spell fight.
Right.
I'm undefeated. You ain't fought nobody. I had somebody try to liken this generation to when I was fighting at 135. And I gave them a rundown of who was there. And I don't think people remember what the class was when I was there. But I'm going to help you understand this. They voted me one of the top 5 most feared fighters in boxing. You had Marquez, Juan Diaz, Julio Diaz, Michael Katsidas, Casamayor, Pacquiao. You had Castillo, Corrales. You had it was like they called it 7 stars. It was like we were like 15, 16 deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had Zaire Rahim. You had Eric Morales. You had all these guys fighting at 135 when I was fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Catch a L, baby.
Yeah.
And somebody you fought. I fought the very best guys at their peak. We didn't wait. I didn't wait. So let's go ahead and do this now when you're young and there's no argument about where when we got here.
Right. Right.
So you put the 135. You lay the top 50, the top guys over 115. So over 135. Lay those top guys over next to my guy.
Yeah. Not even close. Yeah.
My 135 was my era in 135 was the greatest 135-pound class of all time, either 1 or 2. It was that good.
I agree with you. I wholeheartedly agree with you.
To be champion in that era changes the way you visualize stuff. No, you can't. I don't celebrate mediocrity.
Right.
Right. And I'm gonna say this right now: the pound for pound best fighter in the world is Jermell Charlo. Period. Bar none, without a doubt. And people don't even have to like that I said that. But I can give you the numbers to back that up. What is the most hotly contested division in boxing?
Well, certainly around welterweight is always very interesting. Middleweight's always very interesting.
Okay, let's stop bullshitting. What division is the toughest division in boxing right now? Without a doubt.
What's your opinion that it is?
Junior middleweight. Look at all the guys that fight.
Okay.
Junior middleweight is the hottest division the toughest division in boxing.
Yeah.
And you got an undisputed champion in that division. If he ain't pound for pound number 1 guy, he fought. Stop playing with me. See, and the problem is these guys are about who they like instead of who has really done the work. And that's what bothers. What bothers me is you let a bunch of guys who can't, who have no idea what boxing really is, talking about boxing.
Right. Right.
You got a bunch of athletes, but no well-schooled fighters. I fought in the era when I could watch James Toney take a dude apart.
Right. Right. The legend. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you can't talk to me about loving boxing if you don't know the history of boxing and can't be honest about what's going on in boxing right now. Boxing is.
Who would you? Obviously, I can hear and see the love for Charlo exuding from you. You're obviously a fan and admirer of his. Who should he fight? It seems like he's angled for a lot of big fights, and nobody seems to want to fight really him or his brother. But I mean, he's missed out on a Triple G fight. Seems like he could secure a fight with Canelo. I mean, it seems like nobody wants to fight the Charlos.
He didn't miss out on those fights. Let me help you understand something.
Okay.
When they wanted him to fight these guys to fight Canelo, I said it was too soon, and it was too soon. And I'm not a big fan. I love both of them to death, but I thought they was assholes till I met them. Then I realized why they had the chip on their shoulder.
Yes.
He should fight Boo Boo. Well, Boo Boo ain't want. Boo Boo say he want to fight, but then no offense, Boo Boo ain't really fighting nobody.
Right.
And I like Boo Boo. But let's be real. I guarantee you, Canelo skipped over both Charlos, refused to fight at 168 until Benavidez didn't have a belt. Then he went to manufactured a undisputed situation there, and he still won't fight Benavidez.
Mm-hmm.
He can fight Benavidez today if he wanted to.
Well, he may be in a little bit of a pickle if Benavidez beats Plant in this upcoming, because doesn't one of them become his mandatory?
He'll just drop the belt.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
People don't know that man has a last right of refusal clause in his contract.
Yeah.
Who the
Yeah.
what fight? That is the most dumb thing. Dude, if you say you're the best fighter,
you should want to fight everybody. Right. You should want to be fighting people. Yeah. And the best people, not just people, but the best people.
He's finna fight some guy who I've never heard of next.
That seems like it's always the case with the Canelo fight. It always seems to be some guy we've never heard of.
and then they'll make you think that guy has a chance. And he has this chance of Slim and none, and Slim is out of town.
Yeah. I'm interested to get your take. I'm interested to get your take as a guy with a lot of opinions, man. What your take is on like these Jake Paul type fights, which a lot of people look at as like a gimmick fight. I mean, do you think what these guys are doing is good for boxing?
All I'm gonna say is this. I told you so. As soon as he got in with a guy that's a little bit serious, not good, that's a little bit serious, he took and now when they was clowning him, he up and runs away from the crowd clowning him.
Yeah.
Brother, you ain't a real fighter until you can stand there and take the criticism.
But as a boxer who trains your whole life, I mean, you or anybody else, a lot of you guys, you obviously start very young. You fight Golden Gloves. You fight, as kids coming up through the ranks. Is it insulting for a guy who's put his blood, sweat, and tears into this to have a guy like Jake Paul come and kind of just casually enter the sport and then suddenly win and be able to get ranked? Like if he would have won that fight, would it have been fair that he got to be ranked?
That just goes to show you how bad boxing is.
Yeah.
How horrible.
The fact that they were going to do that. Yeah.
The very fact that they would do something like that hurts.
It hurts
a lot of fighters.
Yeah, I could see where it would. I could definitely see where it. So of all the guys that you were in there with, and you were in with some great ones, Ortiz, Victor Ortiz, Timothy Bradley, you named the bunch, Danny Garcia, Casamayor. Who was your toughest fight personally? Who gave Nate Campbell the best fight?
Father Time. He don't stop coming. I turned 51 March 7th. And I told one of the guys, I said, I realized that I can still fight with anybody. If they let me get in shape, I can box anybody. I can beat any of these guys. But do I want to?
Right.
And it's an extraordinarily hard to ask to come to the realization with so many guys out here that are fighting that don't really want to fight one another.
Right.
When I was young, I fight somebody. I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight the very best guys that were available. And I made it my business, win, lose, or draw, to do that. And I told the guy, he's like, but your record, let me tell you something. I earned every fight I got. I didn't walk away. I didn't run away. I fought. And if you're going to fight, you got to be willing. If you're going to fight, you got to be willing to fight all the best guys all the time. If not, if you're not going to do that, why even waste our time? Right.
So what got you into boxing? Was there a boxer that you were watching as the younger you that really got you excited? Was there a guy whose career that you followed? Who was like, quote unquote, your guy, the guy that you rooted for?
Aaron Pryor. I didn't want to wait.
Aaron Pryor.
I didn't want to be like Aaron Pryor. I wanted to go to sleep and wake up and be Aaron Pryor.
You wanted to be the Hawk. Yeah.
Dude, I wanted to be Aaron Pryor. I wanted to be him. And when I met him and we hit it off, and he was like, "Oh my God," he told me he saw me get robbed in a fight against in Florida, and he told me, "You won that fight." He said, "They're not gonna give you nothing." He said, "They're not gonna give you nothing because you fight like me."
Which is what you've always wanted to hear, probably when you were young.
That was like my father who died when I was 10, telling me he was proud of me.
Yeah.
And I became I was already a big fan. We would always talk. When I won the world title, he saw me for the first time. He found out that I was in Key West. He was in Key West at a fight. He's, "Where's Nate?" You can hear him outside. "Where is he? I heard Nate's here." And when I saw him, he ran up to me and hugged me. He was so proud of me. And dude, it was I choked back the tears. I choked tears back because I was like, "Oh my God, this is like when I met Ali. It was spiritual."
Right.
When that night was spiritual for me also.
Yeah.
I wanted to fight like Aaron Pryor. I wanted to train like Marvin Hagler.
Yes. Yeah. That's an animal right there. That's a guy cut from a different cloth right there. When you're jogging through the streets in the middle of the night and your mindset is war, you're taking it seriously. These guys today wouldn't have survived against a Marvin Hagler.
I wanted to train like him. I wanted to train like Marvin Hagler. I wanted to fight like Aaron Pryor. I wanted to be supreme in the ring like Roy Jones. I wanted that kind of zazz. You know, I wanted that. There was just so many guys I stole from. I wanted to be as sexy in the ring as Ray Robinson.
Nice.
I wanted to be. I didn't know anything about Charlie Burley, but that's who my trainer Doc Williams told me I fought like. I'm like,
right.
Who? Because I didn't know who that was. But when I first saw Charlie Burley fought, I'm like, huh? He fight like me. He said, "No, I fight like him."
You fight like it, yeah. Well, I know one big thing that we hear about a lot in boxing, and it's debated a lot. The merits of people, making, the Ring Magazine, pound for pound list. But even more importantly than that, a lot of armchair talk is about, we hear the term thrown around a lot, the GOAT. Now, a lot of these guys are your favorite boxers, but is there one guy out there that you think of as the GOAT? Is it Floyd Mayweather because he has a 0 for his record? As you say, people get obsessed with holding on to their 0. Is it somebody else? Sugar Ray Robinson obviously had a phenomenal record. Guys like Rocky Marciano, retired undefeated with so many fights. Who's the GOAT in your mind?
Ray Robinson is the pound for pound best that we know, that we have tape of. But
I would agree with you.
Charlie Burley was as big a monster, and Ray Robinson won. So for me, it's Charlie Burley or Ray Robinson, and I don't think the guys of the day can consider themselves that great because they didn't fight the same, nor do they have the same things that they were fighting behind, same structure.
Right.
A lot of people think I don't like Mayweather. It's not that I don't like Mayweather. I've been trying to pick a fight with Mayweather for 20 years, and I just think I'm at an age now where I'm not going to pick a fight anymore. I celebrate his career. But if you're gonna ask me how I feel, who I know is the greatest, it would definitely be Charlie Burley or Ray Robinson.
Is Floyd Mayweather a guy when you were active that you pursued a fight with, or a guy that you would have liked to have fought?
I wanted to fight Mayweather, Marquez, Pacquiao, Morales, Prince Nassim Ahmed. I want to fight Mark Antonio
Pereira, yep.
Edwin Valero. I wanted to fight Valero so bad. I started itching, thinking about how much I wanted to put my hands on it.
Rest in peace. He passed away on us too. Yep.
Yeah. And I don't get into people's personal life. I just wanted to fight the fight.
Right. So what was it that you think that stopped a lot of these fights from happening? Was it the business side? Was it politics? Was it a genuine? What was it?
It was politics.
It
was politics. It was a bunch of politics.
So I know you mentioned Father Time being the toughest opponent, but who's the guy in the ring that hit you the hardest? Who's the guy that really walloped you, like that really woke you up and said, "Holy shit, that I felt that one"?
Probably the toughest guy I ever fought was a guy named Alex Rios.
Okay.
He was the toughest. Punched me the hardest. Dude, I'm doing an interview. Hold on. I'm doing an interview, Cat.
That's crazy, man. So I noticed when I interview boxers on here that a lot of the guys that they name that hit them the hardest are often guys that aren't the biggest names on their resume. I always find that interesting.
Alex Green was Angel Rios was my toughest opponent, but I've been hit by three monster punches. I was hit by Randall Bailey.
Yes.
I was hit by Steve, and I was hit by Ali Fanica. And I have to put them in different orders. Randall Bailey hit me and shoved my neck down into my shoulder blades.
Oof.
And Teddy Reed hit me so hard I couldn't remember any cuss words.
Yeah.
I started talking to him in the Queen's English. I was like, thank you very much. And
that's hard. That's getting punched hard, champ. That's getting punched hard.
Ali Fanica hit me so hard I thought he broke my jaw.
Jesus, man.
Yeah, just large. I thought he was trying to dismember me.
Yeah. I think one thing that I find fascinating, and I kind of draw the same comparison to Errol Spence kind of did a similar move. He had that horrendous car accident. It took some time away. I mean, fortunate to walk away from that, but a lot of people thought he'd take some tune-up fights, you know what I mean? And he came right back after a big layoff and jumped in with Danny Garcia, which is a guy that you came back from retirement with and fought, which is certainly not an easy fight or a warm-up fight by any means. I mean, Danny is certainly a good litmus test and always has been kind of a gatekeeper type of role where, you know what I mean, like he's certainly a big name fight. But when you came back, why was it him? Was that the reason you wanted you wanted to come back and say, I'm going to jump back into this full on? I want a tough opponent?
No, they called me on 7 days notice for that fight.
Really?
I took that fight on 7 days notice.
Wow.
And I took the fight because I wanted to fight.
Yeah.
I just wanted to fight. I really wanted to fight. And I didn't want to come back with a tune-up.
Yeah.
My back had been messed up so bad for so long. I had been training without sparring for months. And I realized how good I started to feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Is coming back now? Like I noticed I noticed, or you mentioned earlier that you're 51 years old. There, obviously we saw Mike Tyson and Roy Jones have, a few months back an exhibition. We've seen guys, flirting with, Oscar was going to come back. It fell through with the Vitor Belfort fight, but then Evander Holyfield got in there with them. Do you think there's ever a point in time, though, man, like when you just gotta, I know you said you have the itch to fight and you still feel like you would like to fight, though, but is there sometimes when it's just not advisable, man? Like, do these guys come back and when they really shouldn't, and it's dangerous?
Please, somebody call me for an exhibition. I'll be nice. I won't stop them. I promise I'll just beat them up real good.
If you had your choice, who would you be calling out right now, Nate? If we could really make an exhibition happen.
Anybody on that list I just called before.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you who I really, really want to fight if I had to fight an MMA guy. Because I liked him so much as an MMA fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to fight Uriah Faber.
Okay.
God. I like Uriah Faber. I thought that I would love to. I wanted to spar Uriah Faber because I just liked him so much.
I do too. Yeah, a very likable guy. Very.
Yeah, and it wasn't nothing personal.
Yeah,
but I wanted to touch him up, and I was like, "Why?" I'm like, because I like him. And for me, when I like somebody, I like to, when I like a fighter, I want to be in the ring with that fighter just so I can. Me and Shane Mosley, I was trying to get something set up with me and Shane Mosley. Me and Shane used to be sparring partners. I love to spar with Shane.
Yeah. Now you also fought. Now I'm a firm believer in, like, you do see a lot of people, who come along who have your number. You brought up Sugar Shane Mosley. He was really rolling, beat Oscar De La Hoya twice. Then along comes Vernon Forrest, who beats him a couple of times. And then Ricardo Mayorga comes along and seems to be the kryptonite for Vernon Forrest. You had a couple of fights against Robbie Peden. Was he your kryptonite?
No, weight. I couldn't make the weight. I was killing myself to make weight. I haven't killed myself for 3 years to make that weight. And when I got the title shot, I went in with the guy who could really fight. Robbie wasn't. And a lot of people think that I was taunting him, but I was black. I was having walking blackouts.
Okay.
And I never told him about it. And the first fight I had a walking blackout. and I walked forward murmuring. And Robbie did what he was supposed to do. The second fight, it was just so hard to make the weight.
Yeah.
It was a dirty fight between us. Robbie used his head a lot. We bumped the heads and we banged the elbows, and it was just a fight. And love him to death. One of my favorite people on the planet. I offered him I offered him a fight for the lightweight title. He cussed me out.
Why? He said 2 was already enough.
I'm good. At 130, animal. I can fight 12 hard rounds and throw 100 punches around the whole time and power on top of that. So being in love with what I do, I wanted to be in the same ring with that brother. I love him. I think he's a great guy.
And now you're doing training though. So you're passing your knowledge on to other people. Do you find, because a lot of boxers get out of boxing and a lot of them become trainers and a lot of them, don't stay affiliated with boxing in any way, shape, or form. You seem to, obviously you're in the gym, you're doing the interview from the gym. Is boxing something that you just can't walk away from? You're that passionate about it. You always want to have a foot in boxing in some capacity.
It's boxing is the only woman that's ever been truly honest with me.
Yeah.
All it is. No other woman has ever loved me the same way. No woman has ever been as honest with me and treated me with the amount of respect I deserve. Never more, never. Boxing. Not the business, but boxing.
Yeah.
I'll always be internally grateful for boxing being to me what it has been.
Right.
So
right.
What else? This gym, Galaxxy Boxing Refuge, located at 860 Cassett Avenue, Jacksonville, Florida, 32205.
Okay.
You can also at 904-600-9075. The reason I'm doing this is because one of my little cousins died. His mother and father don't know why I'm doing it, really. They don't know this is the reason. He was shot and killed some years back, 2 years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
And I want to save as many kids as I can from this gang violence out in these streets. And I want to give these kids another way to see it. I want to teach these young men that their lives are valuable.
Yeah.
I need for them to see each other as human beings. If they see each other as human beings and not animals, maybe they won't kill each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that. And I like that you're doing it through boxing, because I think a lot of people would look at that message and say, how is this helping kids? Because you're teaching them how to fight. I understand what you're doing, as a fan and a person who understands like the kind of tools you can give these kids. You know what I mean? So I hope that the audience out there will understand that, teaching a kid to defend themselves and to fight and handle his business in a ring, is a way to steer kids down the right path. It is.
Rex, say something, Rex. You know the problem why a lot of these kids are killing each other? They can't take a loss.
Right.
They don't know how.
I love that you're saying that, champ. I do love that you're saying that, champ, because I do think that's what's holding boxing back. As a diehard fan, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier. It is a lot of people not making big fights because they're scared like that really means something. It really does to them. It's foolish, but it seems to be a big ego thing in boxing right now. Like if you're undefeated, you get to walk around and feel like you're part of this GOAT conversation.
No, you don't. I'm gonna tell you a secret. When you put those Joker records up against everybody they fought against, the other guys fought,
yes,
they don't stack up.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah,
I'm the guy that goes behind the numbers, and I also but my thing, dude, I don't hate nobody. I just want everybody to have the best life they can have and do the best thing they can do for their families, make as much money as they can. But my argument with a lot of these guys is this guy made more money than he did, so that makes him better. And I kind of like, huh? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I told the guy the other day, LeBron James, and all these other guys that love to say that they're the greatest, and people say they're the greatest. I stopped arguing that because I'm like, why would I argue something that I don't believe? I know Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player ever played.
Me too. I have this argument with my son on an every other night basis.
Talk to my daughter. My daughter's 29. My baby girl's 29, and she'll look you in the and say, until somebody get killed over a pair of LeBrons, don't talk to me. I just die. I'm like, that is ill. That is cryptic.
Yeah.
Our sense of humor is cryptic sometimes. I'm like, wow.
Well, listen, I just turned 50 years old a couple of weeks ago. And I feel every bit of 50. You look great and look like you're in fantastic shape and could step through those ropes right now. But are you still living the lifestyle of a fighter in terms of like, your own workout routine?
I'm walking around. This is me right here. Dude, I had soul food for lunch. I had breakfast. I'm going. My problem is there's no reason for me to miss a meal. Y'all don't give me.
No.
If they give me a fight, I'll miss a meal. If they give me a reason to make, give me a reason to stand up and I joke about that, but I'm serious. Don't treat me like this. Give me a reason to come in here and do
Absolutely.
This.
I agree with you 100%. So obviously you still have your ear to the pavement when it comes to boxing. You still know what's going on up there. Who are some fighters right now, one or more? Who are some guys that are coming up or in the game right now who you're kind of keeping an eye on? You mentioned Charlo. Who are some other guys that are doing it right now that you're just a legitimate fan of?
Tim Tszyu just made me a fan.
Yes.
A fan. Young kid out of young kid Dylan Price out of Philly, out of New Jersey, Philly area. The kid Steven, the kid, he's just won a title. He's from Philly also. Just saw him the other night. I forget his last name.
And the sad part is I know who you're talking about too, and I can't think of his name either.
Right.
Exciting though. Yeah.
Exciting fighter. Everybody says he fights like you, Nate. I'm like, no, he don't.
How about Boots? How about Boots? Do we like Boots?
I like Boots Ennis. When he fight, I think he steps up and fights somebody, he's gonna prove his salt. You gotta realize something. I grew up with Derek Ennis.
Yes.
And that he was always on the losing end of some BS decisions, but Ennis wasn't no joke then. The Ennis boys fight. So Boots just in the right era because this brother could bump. All boys could bump.
Now, back when you unified all those, back when you fought Juan Diaz and you became undisputed, he at that time was, pretty much, as you put it earlier in the interview, the greatest thing since sliced white bread. He was highly touted. He had a lot of hoopla and a lot of hype behind him. How did you beat him? Because at that point in time, they were really putting him up on a pedestal. That's probably a fight that nobody gave you a chance to win. But how did you beat him?
I beat him. I beat him because I was a better fighter. I made a statement that Max Kellerman, and you know how they always shoot a house fighter.
Yep.
And I told Max Kellerman, I said, y'all keep putting God in smaller packages.
Yep.
And when I said that, Max said, huh? I said, don't worry, you'll see tomorrow. I said, I'm gonna drag him to hell.
Yeah.
And and again, if you watch the fight, Max said he didn't think there was a pit deep enough in Dante's Inferno for Juan Diaz.
Yeah. I agree.
When I got a hold of him, start pulling him down into that hot fire. He realized. I think Max Kellerman realized I meant what I was saying. There's a certain amount of mental. I beat Juan Diaz. I was saying some of the most heinous things to him in the ring. I talked. That was in the corner yelling. I talked about so much stuff.
Yeah.
That they didn't get it.
Well, with Juan Diaz, you did go the distance with him. And I'm looking here, Danny Garcia, Victor Ortiz, even some of these guys that you did lose to, you still took them the full distance. But was there ever a guy I'm looking at your record here, 37 wins, certainly plenty of knockouts, 26 knockouts, but was there ever a guy that you went in there with a real disdain for? Did anybody that you fought ever really get under your skin where you were really, really, really looking for a knockout?
I always want to knock guys out, but nobody was under my skin.
So nobody could really get to you.
I really came from the streets.
I
really came from the streets, and nobody really gave me that thing. I made this statement. I like Tank. I like watching Tank fight. But I watched Tank push that kid Rolly Romero off the stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my cousin, who was my head of security, was sitting next to me. I looked over at him. I said, "Ooh," he said, "Yeah, bro." He said, "Cuz that shit would have went down wrong." Because you gotta realize something. My cousins was been in prison for murder and attempted murder. Did time for murder and attempted murder. I beat a bad charge like that at 17. We didn't play those games. Bruh, it was gonna go down right then. So for me, I'm like, nobody ever tried me like that. Nobody ever came for me like that. Because I guess they knew that I was really about their life.
Right. So this fight is very good for boxing. Obviously, a lot of people want to see Tyson Fury and Usyk for the heavyweight. People have been asking for years to see Spence and Crawford. Ryan Garcia and Tank are stepping up and giving us a very nice treat for boxing fans. Who will win ultimately, though?
Devin Haney is finalized the deal with Vasily
Lomachenko. Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, I've never been high on neither one of those guys.
No, I'm not either.
I thought Lomachenko was overrated. I think the Dev is a tad overrated.
But the Tank and Ryan Garcia fight, ultimately, who will win?
Tank gonna hit him. Tank gonna hit him and kill him. Everybody keeps telling me about how fat me and one of my close brothers in boxing were talking today, and he bought this fight up. He said, "Man, don't you sleep on Ryan's speed." I said, "I'm not sleeping on his speed. I'm sleeping on his chandelier of a chin."
Yeah.
He bust out laughing, and my brother is Hector Camacho Jr. We were on the phone. That's my brother I'm talking about, and so we both on two different ends of the spectrum, man. He's like telling me that he believes that Ryan got a shot. I think everybody got a shot. They got 8-ounce gloves on.
Sure. Yeah. So another fight that I'd like to get your opinion of that's coming up even before the Tank Davis Ryan Garcia fight that seems to be overshadowed a little bit by all the hype with the Tank and Ryan Garcia fight is the Caleb Plant David Benavidez fight. Is there any even reason to make a prediction, or will Benavidez just steamroll right over him?
Ooh, let me tell y'all something. Everybody keep talking about Caleb. I like Caleb Plant. I do.
I do too.
We saw what happens when you put pressure on him.
Yeah. Yes.
And Benavidez is the real deal. He's the real.
Yes.
He genuinely does not like Plant.
That is true. Yes.
And he genuinely gonna try to take his head off. And he gonna throw 100 punches around, all of them hard to do it. Benavidez is the kind of fight he would throw a lot of shots, but most of those shots are hard.
Yes, agreed. So the last one I'd like to get your take on is a little bit bigger guys up in the heavyweight division. First of all, is there anybody in the heavyweight division that can right now beat Tyson Fury, or will he retire without any of these guys in the current division being able to beat him? Is there anybody that's out of the big guys right now who's a legitimate threat to beat him?
No. As long as Tyson Fury keeps his edge, he'll be okay.
Yeah. So Alexander Usyk will not be able to defeat him. Too small?
I think he has the ability to beat him, but I don't think he has the tools. Usyk is no joke. I give him the only chance.
But we do hear a lot, and maybe you can expound on this a little more, because you were a pro fighter, though. We always have heard and been led to believe, growing up, you always hear, oh, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog. Size isn't everything. But when you get into fights and you get a guy like Tyson Fury, 270 pounds, and he's leaning and laying on you, though, is that really true, though? I mean, is size a factor in a fight?
In a heavyweight fight, yeah, it's a factor.
It is.
Especially if he pushes Usyk into a fist fight.
Yeah.
And he lands. Usyk is no Jack Dempsey.
Right.
Those guys were small guys that could crack.
Yes. Agreed.
Kind of guy. Usyk can box, but at some point they're gonna have to swap paint.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. And listen, champ, I really know that it was you know, that you went to some great lengths here to you know, to spend a little bit of time with us here, and I really appreciate that. I know you're busy working out your fighters. First of all, let me ask anybody in your current gym that you got your eye on. Are we bringing up champs out there? Do we got some prospects?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you, like I tell everybody, I don't particularly care if I raise out of the gate. I don't. I'm more concerned with one thing. I'm teaching young men. I'm raising young men.
You're doing God's work out there, brother. You are.
If somebody becomes champion, I'm happy. If a young lady becomes champion, I'm happy. I'm pushing. The cool thing is I'm pushing trades. I'm pushing the trade. I'm pushing young men to go into the trades. I'm pushing young men to go into carpentry and plumbing and welding. I'm pushing the trades, and I'm pushing them because I need these young men to understand that everybody won't be world champion. But if we get one of us to become world champion, we're gonna need somebody to pour the foundation, frame the house, put the roof on, do the plumbing.
No question.
You get what I'm saying? I do. Kids all the time. If one of y'all become champion, everybody builds their business off of your back, and you better let them do it. You better let the guy that you punched in the nose and bust his nose, and you better go looking for him. You know, I'm gonna bring in someone every week with a trade, just to show what trades do. I'm talking from truck driving all the way down. I got one lady, she got like 58 trades. Her name is Raquel. She walked in right now. She's a truck driver. She's a welder. The big one like that,
That look like the big one?
Yeah, the biggest one, one of the biggest ones they got.
He said the biggest is the biggest one they got.
And so we're standing. So I'm on the phone. So take a picture of it. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to make sure people understand this, that anybody can tell you about being a boxer. But what happens if you don't? Less than 1%. Listen, less than 1% of 1% become champion. So we got a lot of, and less than 1% of 1% becomes champion. Okay.
Yeah.
And less than 1% of 1% become champion. Less than that win 2 belts. Less than that win 3. Only 3 guys that ever won 3 belts when I was champion. Pernell Whitaker, Juan Diaz, and me. Now you got the guys that have won the 4 belts in this era, which is, but I say this to say everybody not gonna be champion.
Right, I agree with you.
I'm that coach that's gonna tell the guys, hey, some of y'all gonna have to find something else to do.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree. And so, so you're running the gym there. In closing, what else are you doing? Are you still? You were hosting your own podcast for a while, were you not?
I host 2 podcasts. One has been dormant, but I won one that's called a Lion Killer Podcast. Me and my friend Adonis Glenn. We've been doing that, and so look us up on Facebook, on YouTube, the Lion Killer Podcast. I'm in Colombia every month with fighters over in Colombia, shuffling fighters in and out of Colombia. So for me, I'm constantly doing something boxing related.
I love it, champ. You're out there, you're busy, and as you said, more importantly than boxing, man, you know, you're helping raise up generations of good men, and that's more important than strapping belts on these guys, man. It really is.
Listen, everybody won't be champion, but we can all be winners.
Yes, I love that you said that, and I love that you closed on that, man. And listen, I really appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day and chatting with me a little bit. Thank you so much. It was an honor talking to you, champ. It really was.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I hope we can stay in touch, and we'll hop on here and do it again sometime.
Let's do. I'm having my grand opening April 1st. I'm having my opening, my soft opening April 1st, 860 Cassett Avenue, Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
Opening May 6th, doing the same thing.
I'll look you up between now and then, and we'll set something up in May then. I would love to do that, champ. Definitely.
Thank you.
All right. God bless, champ. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon, champ. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. There he goes, folks. That is the former champ, Nate, the Galaxy Warrior Campbell. My apologies as he was at the gym. The picture getting a little pixelated, a little bit choppy, man, but the message was poignant and it was there. That's a man right there, man, who held belts, who beat tough men. And now look what he's doing, man. I mean, fuck, you heard him right there, man. I mean, not only is he bringing these boys into the gym and giving them the tools and the skills to box, you heard what the real underlying message is. He's really trying to raise up good men, take them off the streets, man, show them a better way, man. And you got to applaud, Keith, you got to applaud that. You know, I mean, for fuck's sake, man. Nate, Galaxy Warrior Campbell. And the guy wasn't too bad with the hands himself. Let's not forget, man. 37 wins, 27 knockouts. Been in there with the likes of Joel Casamayor, who he may or may not have beat. Go back and watch that fight from 2003. Make your own determinations. Been in there with Danny Garcia. You know, if you know the fight game, these names mean something. Victor Ortiz, Timothy Bradley, Juan Diaz. You know, just a litany of the greats from his generation. And as you heard, a grand opening. He gave the details of his gym. If you're down in the Florida area, man, and you want to learn from the champ, you know, head through those doors. Send your kids through those doors. Because he's doing great things down there. You just heard he's going to have a grand opening in May. We'll get him on here again, and we will talk to him about it. Because he's Nate Campbell, for God's sake, man. The champ, man, and a salt-of-the-earth man. That's a good man out there doing good shit. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode of Pod Scum, and I would like to remind you all to go out there into this crazy wide world and just take it easy and keep it sleazy.